First of all, there's an addiction issue here. People need help, not for things like harm reduction or anything like that. They need real help, how to deal with the issues that are causing their addiction. Most people have some sort of mental health issue.
Okay. Pardon me? We're in a public area, sir.
So what? We don't want to be on camera.
We don't want to be on TV, man.
Okay.
What's the point of stopping?
David Menzies for Rebel News here in downtown Toronto. And folks, before I get into my story, if you do indeed appreciate us bringing you the other side of the story, please go to letusreport.com, make a donation so we can continue to bring you the kind of journalism you've grown accustomed to. Well, I'm standing in front of George Hislop Park. As you can see, this is certainly not a park you would want to bring a child to. It has been taken over by homeless people, the vast majority of whom seem to be suffering from mental illness.
Most people have some sort of mental health issue, okay? And that's because of some kind of stress they've had in their life, post-traumatic stress disorder. And using the drugs gets them away from that.
And addiction issues.
One of these tents is where you buy your dope and your heavy stuff.
It's right next door to the Sanctuary Church. If you can believe it, right in front of the church is 4 porta potties. It's lucky for you you're watching the video and you're not where I am here, because the smell is downright vile. But it's funny, there's a lot of publicity coming out of Seattle about the autonomous city there. That's being run by Antifa thugs. This too is an autonomous city. It's been here for several weeks now. The city just continues to turn a blind eye, and it's not run by Antifa, but it's basically occupied, as I said before, by people who are homeless, who have mental health issues, and who have addiction issues. The problem is that this is causing a huge strain on the neighborhood. We're going to meet up with a lady who goes by the name of Miss Suzette. She's having weekly meetings here at the park to try to pressure the politicians to do something about the situation. And it is getting out of hand. There's been a reported 3 stabbings that we know of here by people coming by, people who, if you can believe it, live in luxury condominiums here on Charles Street. In any event, I'm going to be talking to Miss Suzette, and she's going to give us a rundown of what it's like living in John Tory's Sanctuary City. Well, I'm with Miss Suzette. She is a concerned resident here in the Yonge and Isabella area. And as you can see behind me, this is where the parkland has been taken over by, well, I don't know if they're homeless, if they're drug addicts, maybe it's a mixture of both. Miss Suzette, can you please tell me, when did this encampment happen right here in the bosom of downtown Toronto?
I think it started, David, at least 3 months ago when the virus started, or the virus. There's always been people resting here, but not tenting. Suddenly they were tenting. I understand they moved from Moss Park, they moved from 519, and kind of just landed here when they were chased out of 519. So it's been here a long time. Now, it was wonderful. You know, we're our charitable people. We would take them food and clothing and stuff, make them feel, you know, home full in a sense. But it's getting to a point now, David, that crime is rampant. There was a stabbing the other day. They're hurting people. Old people are petrified. One old lady was pushed. Other people are being sworn at. Knives are being shaken at them. And suddenly it's turned into, from what we're seeing, not a very pleasant and safe place to be.
So do you see any tangible solution on the horizon in terms of fixing this problem here?
Offhand right now, nothing. We've sent a letter to the mayor, an email. We've all emailed the mayor and Kristen Wong Tam. Haven't had a response back from her at all yet. Until somebody gets hurt, I don't think nothing's going to happen.
And people have been getting hurt. There's been like at least 3 knifings so far, hasn't there?
Yeah, there has been, yeah. And the police are being tight-lipped about some of it, though. We don't know for sure. We heard the person was killed. We heard he's not killed. So there's no clarity on what's going on.
I figure it's our park as much as theirs, and I should have the right to walk through.
Yes.
They were very to themselves, but to watch the drug abuse is hard.
Have you witnessed that, sir? We've heard there's intravenous drug.
Bigger tent in the middle. There's about 6 of them, and it appears that they're doing drugs. Hard drugs at that, not just marijuana.
And there's been at least 3 reported cases of knifings here, I understand?
Well, at nighttime it's a different environment than day. Oh yes, yes, the creatures come out at night.
Can we not get some security or the police that it secures this area so we can all keep going into the park, past the park, not be harassed here, be yelled at? I'm surprised nobody's running around yelling at you right now.
It's interesting because I see police officers right now, 1, 2, 5 of them actually cycling through the park, but they're not enforcing any laws.
Well, I think their hands are somewhat tied. I don't know what can they do right now. You need more enforcement, you know.
With the lack of sanitation, this is a bona fide health hazard, and yet it's being, there's a blind eye being turned to it. Yet we can go along the Queen Street West to the Trinity Bellwoods Park, and if we step outside of our social distancing circle, we'll get an $880 coronavirus ticket. Can you make sense of this city right now?
That's pretty easy, actually. This is cost.
Yeah.
To the city, this is cost. You have to set up homeless projects. You have to give them homes. You have to they can't take care of themselves, as you can see. So you have to have somebody come into those facilities on a daily. How do you work it when most of them can't even stay in the shelters because they can't get along with each other and they're overcrowded? So you have a problem with finances.
I understood there was 124 hotels waiting for people who are homeless. What's going on?
And that you raise another great point, Miss, is that we live in a country now where we are taking in, or at least until the pandemic kicked in, people could literally just walk across the border. Illegal aliens claim they're refugees. Maybe some of them are legitimate refugees, and they're welcomed into Canada. They're being put up in posh places like the Radisson Hotel at, just off the 401. And yet here we have, I guess, people perhaps born in this country, and it looks like the authorities are just willing to turn a blind eye and have them camp out, near your condo.
Millions of emails have been sent. We're getting emails back, David, that are just form emails.
I hear somebody incoherently shouting, so let's walk in your shoes and see what you have to endure every day.
What can you do? What can we do? Even if we bring them help, like clothing or food, they could throw it in your face, which I had happen.
You brought somebody clothing and food and they threw it in your face, Mrs.
There was ladies sitting on the park bench, not this time around, but a street lady, and I brought them some food from Raba. She threw it in my face, yeah. One of these tents is where you buy your dope and your heavy stuff.
Okay.
And
is that a drug deal going on behind us right now?
I honestly don't know because I don't want to know. Now, This is the park.
Okay. Pardon me? We're in a public area, sir.
So what? We don't want to be on camera.
Well, folks, as you can see, it's getting a little testy here. We have some people behind this chain link fence saying they don't want to be on camera. And we have some more. That is the sanctuary.
You guys gonna go?
And
Hey, don't worry. We're doing it.
We don't want to be on the TV, man.
okay,
What's the point of stopping?
we're just walking through this park, sir. So, well, we would have kept walking if you hadn't stopped us. Okay.
Yeah, so this is our park. That is the sanctuary, and they don't own any of this. They own that. That's the church.
So the sanctuary property is just that backyard. Everything else is George Hislop Park.
I mean, George doesn't own it.
All these people at summertime, all they do is to hydrate themselves, wash their clothes, brush their teeth, or anything like that. Where's the water?
Do you live here, sir?
Yeah, I'm amongst these people. I'm one of them. Because there's no water. Before there was water fountain there. If not, you can go to the restaurant, you can use the bathroom. Now there's no water is life. God says you can't live without water. Yet these people are being starved out. And now look at it's coming summer. You can't even brush your teeth in the morning. Okay, they got bathrooms there now. Praise the Lord. But where are you supposed to get water from? Where can you go? There's not even all the taps are closed off now because of the new structure and order of things.
Can I ask you, how did you end up in such a place?
Circumstances, life, God's plan.
Someone who doesn't want to talk. This was his tent,
Okay.
and his partner killed himself or whatever. Anyway, these people, whoever they were here, they burnt that tent.
Really?
You can't have your children go in those areas. I mean, you know, there's no way. For sure they would get affected.
I will have to consider my walking through next time also, because they're very concerned, you know.
Oh, and look at this. Here's two police cycling by. And
Hello? You guys gonna come in? No, never, never. How are you guys doing?
doing
Do you
there?
know when they're moving in? No, I'm not. Okay, thank you. So I keep asking. Do you happen to know when they're moving the people? Thank you for talking to me. It's me and you.
even the police give you the silent treatment in this part of town, eh?
It's the first time I've seen them go through.
People going into the garbage, isn't it?
Inhumane. It's totally inhumane for everybody concerned, but in particular the people that are here. Are they going to stay here and die? Because what's their future?
Well, folks, I did reach out to the mayor's office and the spokesman for the City of Toronto. That would be Brad Ross. And Brad Ross sent me several paragraphs of an explanation of why this tent city operating like a community onto itself is indeed being tolerated. But it boils down to this. Mr. Ross says, before the city clears an encampment, it ensures there is space for individuals inside the system. Otherwise, we're just displacing people who will end up creating an encampment elsewhere. So basically, it's a lot of verbiage indicating for the people who live in this neighborhood, i.e. the taxpayers, the actual citizens of Toronto, to be patient, that City Hall is working on it. But I personally think, after what we've seen here today, and especially with the return of warmer weather, the situation is only going to get that much worse. Hopefully it won't get to a point like Seattle or San Francisco or Los Angeles. We see what those sanctuary cities have become. And that's the bottom line, isn't it? Mayor John Tory proudly proclaims the City of Toronto a sanctuary city. I've lived here almost all my life. I never thought I would see a disgrace like this. But if this is what John Tory brags about when he proclaims Toronto a sanctuary city, he can keep it. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. If you do indeed appreciate us bringing you the other side of the story, please go to letusreport.com, make a donation so we can continue to bring you the kind of journalism you've grown accustomed to.